lot of times be carried from my car to my house. If I stood up, I couldn't play with my kids. I couldn't do anything really.
Wow.
I'd gone to the doctor for everything and nothing was wrong with me. They hardly even would prescribe pain medicine for my joint pain because they didn't associate it with Crohn's, because it's only like 1 in like 15% of people with Crohn's that affects that much. So anyway, I couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't do anything because I could hardly even function. But
Wait, can I record this? Do you care? Because I know somebody with Crohn's.
don't tell me. Don't tell me. No, I'm gonna say
Facebook.
no, and then you can do it, and just don't tell me because I won't do it if I know I'm recorded. I was just watching you, and I'm like, don't do it. I'm sitting in my bathing suit. Like, you guys are killing me.
You're okay, honest. Oh my
You
gosh.
look adorable. You're so
No
thin. You look
kidding.
No,
great.
I'm a
Then
square.
why don't
No, you
Audio.
look adorable.
audio.
Okay. You want me to do audio instead?
Just don't tell me what you're doing, and then I won't think about it.
You have such a beautiful, amazing story that.
All right. So you
so
had
proud.
Crohn's and all your joints and everything, your hips and everything. Okay, go.
Right. So my friend who loves me dearly, she we used to meet once a week for Mexican and margaritas.
Yeah.
And she said, I have this stuff for you. Let me think of I have this stuff for you. And I was like, no, I'm not going to take it. She met me one day on our Wednesday nights out, and it was like a drug deal. She's like, dumped out some pills on the table, not even in the bottle, literally out of a bag.
Okay.
And she like divvies up like however many, and I'm like, I don't even know what you're doing. But I didn't take it. And she texts me morning and night, did you take the pills? Did you take the pills? Did you take the pills? I'm like, I'm going to take your stupid pills because I don't know. Right, I was like, I don't need to take your pills. And then I realized that she is like one of my best friends and she wouldn't do anything. And she knows I don't like to do chemical stuff or like drugs or anything. And I was like, whatever, she's relentless and she's not going to shut up, so I better take the pills. So I did, and I think that was on a Wednesday. And then randomly, like, I lived out in the country at the time, and she never, I mean, not in a bad way, but she like never came to my house. It was in the dead of winter, it was freezing cold outside, and I had my kids, and she said, can I come over today? And I was like, okay. I'm like, we can hang out and have coffee on my porch in the dead of winter, but I had electric blankets and whatever. So we're sitting on my porch, and I'm like, we're just catching up, what are you doing? And then I was asking her mom about what her mom was doing. She'd posted about a new job on Facebook, and she said, oh, that's Yoli. And I said, oh, that means nothing to me. And she's like, it's the pills. And I was like, okay. Well, still I didn't tell her I took the pills, because I did. So the next day, she said, come, and I went and watched these videos on the pills, and I literally was not interested. The videos made no sense to me. I was like, I just want to stand up, and all these people are talking about medical issues and whatever. And I had been there for an hour, and I said, I just want to stand up. In my head, I'm like, you guys are killing me to sit in this chair for so long, and I was going to be embarrassed because my hips were going to collapse when I stood up. So this was only like 3 days on the alkali. And at the end of the night, I stood up, and I walked out of the room, and I like literally was like, how did that just happen? And I didn't like make a deal of it because they didn't really know. And the next day, and now go back, I drink whiskey and Coke every day. I did. You know, I was on antidepressant medication and anxiety medication, on Crohn's medication, had all noisy gut, all of these things. The next day, I woke up and it was a Sunday, God help me, poured a whiskey and Coke at like 10 in the morning, and I was like, this tastes like shit. Like, what is wrong with this? And I was like, well, maybe whatever, and I went and poured another one, and I was like, this is not good, like, what is happening? And then I called my friend, and I was like, is that stuff you gave me, like, does that do anything to whiskey? Because this isn't good. And then I went, as I'm doing that, I'm sitting on my couch, and I stood up, and I was like, because I remembered the night before. And so then I spent all day trying to drink whiskey and contorting myself on my couch in different positions, like holding my legs up, and I would stand up, and I was like, what is happening? So I'm like, maybe I should have paid attention to the videos, because now I'm only 4 days on these pills. And I did call her mom, and I was like, does those pills have anything to do with any of this stuff?
And it was alkali.
It was
only.
alkali only. 4 days. And I was like, I would say 80% functioning. And I was like, okay, so maybe like, can I go watch those videos again? Because if that one product helps me 80% better in 4 days, like maybe I should have paid more attention. So I did rewatch the videos, and dived in at the time with zero money I had, but I became a member so I could get the
Party pack?
party pack. I prayed about it, even with the girl who enrolled me, because she knew I didn't have money, and I could have spent it on a majority of things being a single mom.
Didn't you say like you got your tax refund or
I
something?
got my tax return, and I was sitting there, and she's like, Jessica, this is a lot of money. And I said, I know, but God said, do this, and I will heal your body. I will heal you. I'm like, I can't unhear that. And if I don't buy more than one now, what if I need more? And then I spend all the money the next month, I won't have any money to use. And so I went all in and did that. I'm not trying to do the business, but just financially. And I said, if it doesn't work, I'll just sell it, right? Or send it back. So I started on the T-kit, and then I didn't do it for weight loss, although I was the heaviest I'd ever been, but I just really wanted to function. So the first month, I didn't keep anything. I did take a picture. I don't know, I guess because I was so fascinated with my gut that I needed to take a picture of myself. I didn't know it was a before picture, though. So in the first month, I didn't take measurements. I didn't do any of that stuff, and it took me a really long time to, I had to start over a lot. In the first month, from that moment, so I drank whiskey and Coke every day, and I also drank 2 cranberry Red Bulls a day, and I drank a pot of coffee a day. I was a struggling single mom who needed to survive. And I didn't like the passion. I thought it was disgusting, to be honest with you, and I went a whole week on the T-kit without drinking it, and I was like, I just paid like $1,500 for this. I probably should drink it. So I actually went to the grocery store and bought my Red Bull, and I came back and got the passion and said, I'm not going to drink Red Bull all day today, I'm just going to drink the passion. And I never drank a Red Bull again, still haven't, and I haven't had whiskey and Coke since that day. And I haven't been on any of my depression and anxiety medications since that first month on the T-kit. And it did flare up my Crohn's, I will say that. The joints always the joint pain kind of goes before the gut issues, but it did activate my Crohn's. I went into a full flare-up, if you will, and so my parents and everybody like, stop doing that, it's making you sick. But for the first time, I could function, I could move, my joints didn't hurt, and I could move, and I felt good, and I had energy. Now, being on every other episode I've had with Crohn's, like, that's not a thing. Like, it would have put me out tired of not functioning, and I have 3 kids to raise myself and function, so it was a huge difference, and I felt really good, and I kept going with God told me to do this and he would heal me. And I'm like, I could feel it working different in my body. And my body, in my head, it was just readjusting to new food and like getting used to the health. And I didn't really have any major detox symptoms except for I was like lethargically tired for about a week and a half. And I was like, okay, like just stick it out. And once that cleared up, and like I said, in that first month, I lost 15 pounds. And then, like I said, all those other things that I stopped doing. And then I just kept doing it. Like the next month, I'm glad I had another kit, kept doing it. And one time I stopped into the gas station in the morning, and the girl said, where have you been? And I said, what do you mean, where have I been? She said, you've been in here every single day buying coffee and Red Bull, and you haven't been in like 2 months. I was like, like that was kind of like a...
You didn't realize it.
That was like a thing.
Did you share the T-kit with her?
No, but I should. She still works there, honestly, like she needs it, but I haven't. But I never went into it for a business, and I actually did Yoli for an entire year. I lost 42 pounds in 3 months, and all of I've not been on any medication. My noisy gut went away for the first time. It growled because it was hungry and not light up a room. It was just my thing. Like everybody knew my stomach made very loud noises, and it got to be just who I was, and that stopped. And one time in the summer, I walked through the mirror, and I was like, oh God, where did I go? Like, I lost the weight, but that wasn't my focus ever. I was just happy to function. And everybody was asking me how I lost weight, but since it wasn't my priority, I was just like, I tried. That was my answer. I tried. For a whole year. I didn't share Yoli or share what I was doing or anything. It was like my own little secret, but I didn't think of that. I just didn't have time or want to do it.
You were
or
doing your own healing journey too, though.
And I did a lot of, it changed. I don't want to do the whole emotional thing because Holy crud, that's the thing. But then God kept calling me to tell my story. I thought it was my divorce story. I was like, no one wants to hear that. I'm good. Nobody wants to hear that. I wouldn't shut up about it. I'm like, God, like, what do you want? What are you asking me to do? And like that December, a friend of mine posted something about what kind of blender she needed she wanted to start making smoothies. And I was like, dude, you got a Ninja on your counter. Like, what? I don't know. What more do you want? And then I just randomly said, like, are you trying to lose weight or like, what are you doing? And she said, yeah. And she said, yeah, I need to lose weight. And I said, well, you want to know what I did? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh shit, what did I do? And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, does she want to know about Yoli or does she want to know about like my story, like what I did? And I sat there on my couch and I wrote my what happened before and started Yoli and what happened now, and searched back for that picture, and I was like, I guess I do look different, so maybe I should attach pictures to it. And I think I wanted to throw up that moment on my couch, and I sent it to her. And then the next day, another couple was having a BBP at their house, and so I invited her to that. And she was a nurse, so she was like, yes, I've already studied all of this stuff, like I want to go.
Love it.
And then they're like, we don't even know your story. I'm like, I didn't have a story till last night, and I sent it to her, and so they convinced me to put it on Facebook, and then all of a sudden I was in business with that I didn't.
Okay, so now since
So-
you've been on Yoli, what's your story since you've been on Yoli? Like, what's the difference? We heard a little bit of where you came from, so now what do you say? Like, how has your life changed?
Well, I'm alive.
Amen.
Well, physically, now I can go to the gym. I've been in the gym for almost a year and a half, 2 years, and I started off with like 6-pound weights, and now I can do more, but I don't go because I want to be all whatever. I go because I'm able to go, because at one point I wasn't able to go.
Wow.
And that matters. My kids, my relationship with my kids has changed 2,000%, and I've had very hard conversations with my kids about who I was in that survival mode and who I am today. And it's changed the entire course of my day. And being in a not clear-minded state prior to Yoli, I got myself into a lot of abusive situations based on my track record, my tapes I play in my head, my life track. And because I'm a different person now, those tapes have all changed. But being in those on Yoli, when I say that I'm just happy to be alive,
Oh, that's beautiful.
having mind strength and mind clarity, that you can hear God's truth over the devil voices in your head based on what people tell you. And alcohol, that's a thing. I'm sober for a year. There's a good thing. Over a year now because of Yoli, I will say. And I'm.
You look good. You feel amazing.
I don't know where else to go from there.
You look amazing. And you feel probably awesome.
Through the whole journey, it is a process of trusting the Lord and the emotional transformation and not comparing my story to other people's, and letting the Lord work through. When you have a clear mind and you give yourself optimal nutrition, what your body and your mind are capable of doing and awakening. And I feel like I've been asleep my whole life until now.
Wow.
I've done many, many, many drugs and addictions in my life to get to where I am in this freedom now with nothing. And
Wow.
I've just kind of feel like I've been rolling down a hill of letting go and healing and feeling and letting go and feeling. And now, God, I'm at a point in my life where I'm mentally able and consistent and have routines and stuff to move forward, maybe in a bigger way. Finding my voice and being okay with speaking about it.
Wow.
So-
Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
There's that.
That's so incredible. Wow.
Transformed in Jesus' name. Amen.